Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to show you how to plan a sequence map. What is a sequence? Any book or any textbook is divided into sequences. Each sequence involves a specific topic or a title and contains lessons. You find the sequence in almost all the subjects. It's what we call in Arabic al-Maydan. Now, what is a sequence map? A sequence map, it is like the plan of the sequence. It means the order of the lessons in the sequence. What do we start with, what comes after, and so on. When you open your book, when you open the student's book, you're going to find project announcement, then the title of the sequence. Then you're going to find scripts, activities related to scripts, so it is listening lesson. Then pronunciation. After pronunciation, we have grammar. After grammar, we have I practice. Then we have read and do. Then learn to integrate. And finally, and think and write. But how are we going to order these lessons? We cannot present listenings. Then we move to pronunciation. We present all the lessons of pronunciation. Then we move to grammar. We present all the lessons of grammar. It is impossible. Listening, grammar and pronunciation, really each lesson depends on the other lesson. Why? Because if I want to teach my pupils past simple tense, which is a grammar lesson, I have or I need a context. Where am I going to find this context? I'm going to find it in the scripts of listening. Can I, for example, we have 4 lessons of grammar. Past simple, then past continuous, for example, then past continuous, then present simple. Do I need one script? Impossible. I need one script containing items in the past simple. Then after that, I'm going to present past simple tense. Then my pupils need to listen to another script containing items in the present simple. Then I can present the lesson of present simple tense. It works like that. So, I'm going to tell you what you have to mention in the sequence map. In the sequence map, we are going to find lesson in the first column. And by lesson, we mean the skills and the sub-skills. And bear in mind that listening, speaking, reading, and writing are called skills. And grammar and pronunciation are called sub-skills. And bear in mind that listening and speaking, they work together. And reading and writing, they work together. Listening and reading are called receptive skills. It means your pupils are going to receive input. Like reading, it means they're going to read the text, so they receive. Listening, they're going to listen to a script, so they're going to receive. Concerning speaking and writing, your pupils are going to produce. That's why we call these skills productive skills. Then grammar and pronunciation are called sub-skills. And in the second column, you're going to find framework. What is a framework? A framework is the step of each lesson. The step of each lesson. It means the steps that we go through in a listening or a reading or a writing lesson are not the same as the steps we go through in a grammar lesson or a pronunciation lesson. They are completely different. Then we have objective. Objective, which is vital in any sequence map. Each lesson has an objective. We cannot present a lesson without having an objective in our minds. Like when we are going to present a lesson of past simple, it means that by the end of the lesson, I want my pupils to talk about their life experiences in the past using the past simple tense. If I present a lesson of present simple, it means I want my pupils by the end of the lesson to express themselves, talk about their daily routine or daily activities using the present simple tense. So a lesson without an objective is not a lesson. Is not a successful lesson, I would say. Then I'm going to show you what are you going to find in your in the student's book. Of course, you're not going to find the initial situation. You're going to find project announcement. In the first session, before you present any lesson of the sequence, you have to deal with 2 important items. Initial situation and project announcement. Project announcement is available in the book. Then you're going to find in your book project announcement, then listening, grammar, pronunciation, then I practice, I read and do, I learn to integrate, and I think and write. Concerning the order that is mentioned here, it is a logical order, except for listening, grammar, and pronunciation. I haven't classified these skills and sub-skills because listening depends on grammar and grammar depends on pronunciation, so I have to see my lessons in order to be able to classify each lesson in the right or suitable placement. Concerning I practice, now I want to talk about each point separately. I start with project announcement. Something very important you have to know is that the first thing that should be presented while introducing a sequence is the project announcement. And you have to know that not all the sequences contain projects. It means if we have 5 sequences in the book, it does not mean that we have 5 projects. No, we have 1 project for each term, 1 project for each semester. It means if we have 3 semesters, it means we have 3 projects. If we have 2 semesters, it means we have 2 projects. So the project is not related to the sequence, but it is related to the term. Then the project announcement should be written on the board, and your pupils are going to flip a paper on their copybooks, and they're going to write the topic of the project clearly, okay, highlighting the keywords and so on. And it should be, of course, well explained. And you're going to, while presenting the project, not after, not later, while presenting the project, you're going to set the groups, and you're going to design the duty of each member, and you give the date of submission. These are very important while presenting the project to your pupils. Once you finish, this takes maybe half an hour. When you finish, you're going to move to the initial situation. The initial situation, it is like a problematic that is not present in the book or in the textbook, but you have to know it. The initial situation is related to the last lessons of the sequence. What are your pupils going to do in the last lessons of the sequence? They're going to, of course, write. When they write about a topic. You don't wait until you don't have to wait until you get to I learn to integrate or I think and write in order to present the topic to your pupils. No, you present the topic in the initial situation. It means just after the project announcement as a problematic. For example, you're going to talk about your life experiences, but they do not write now because they don't know anything about past simple, about the verbs, irregular verbs and regular verbs, about expressions expressed in the past and so on. So they have to wait until they learn all the items, the language items and the language points of the sequence to be able to write something by the end. That's why I always tell you that the initial situation should be presented in the first session, and its solution is going to be solved by the end of the sequence. But the initial situation, it is not a lesson. It means that it doesn't have a framework. It's like just to give the general idea about the sequence and to present the topic of the writing. And it is often accompanied with the project announcement I told you, but the initial situation is not like the project announcement. The initial situation is present in at the beginning of each sequence. You cannot start the first lesson or you cannot deal with the sequence directly without presenting the initial situation. Concerning the timing, it should not be presented in more than 1 hour. It is it would be very long and useless. You have to present it in less than 1 hour. For example, now we have 45 minutes. If you have a project plus initial situation, you present both in 45 minutes. But if you have only the initial situation, you're going to present it in 20 minutes maximum. Then you move to the first lesson of the sequence. Then I move to listening's grammar and pronunciation. Here, why did I mention all these skills and sub-skills together? Because as I told you, each one depends on the other one. Here we have to scan the sequence. We have to see the content of the script in order to know what to present after it. By content we mean like the content in terms of language points, verbs, prepositions, pronouns, expressions, adjectives, and in terms of words containing the sounds that are supposed to be taught in the pronunciation lessons. Like if we are going to deal with ed and this, we're going to search for a script which contains sounds and words ending with ed, so that we can present the pronunciation lesson as an integrated skill just after. For grammar and pronunciation, try to mention the title of the lesson. It is very important when your pupils revise. They're not going to find, for example, sequence 2 lesson grammar. It is ambiguous and it's unclear. You have to mention the title of the pronunciation lesson or the grammar lesson. Concerning reading, writing, it's okay, because reading are going to read the text. They're going to get the topic through the text. I think and write, I learn to integrate, they're going to guess the topic through the instruction. But what about grammar and pronunciation? They have to see the title of the lesson. Now I give you an example. For example, in the second sequence of the third year English program, we have in the sequence we're going to deal with old lifestyle in dwellings, food, clothes, and games. So in the script of Grandma, like the interview between Jenny and Grandma, you have part 1 containing verbs in the past simple, negative, affirmative, and interrogative sentences, plus made of and made in. All these are mentioned and present in the script. You have also words containing the sound ed, which is pronounced differently. So we present a listening about the old lifestyle in dwelling. We're going to highlight one point, dwelling. Then we present the past simple tense with its 3 forms. Then we present the lesson of made in and made of. Then we present the pronunciation lesson. Of course, pronunciation is going to be integrated in the listening. Then you make them listen to another part in which Jenny and Grandma talk about food and clothes. So you present the lesson of how long ago, and you're going to find that in the script we have the semi-modal used to. So you present one form only after the listening of food and clothes. You're going to listen to a script, and then you present the semi-modal used to as a grammar lesson, only the affirmative form, for example. And then you present the listening of games, because we said 4 points. So we dealt with dwelling, and we dealt with food, and we dealt with clothes. Now we still have games. You make them listen another time to games, and you present the interrogative and negative form of used to. So that's why I told you that you have to scan your scripts in order to know what to present after. Third, we have iPractice. iPractice is not a lesson. For those who are saying that in iPractice we should present a grammar lesson, no. Because in the book you're going to find that in practice we have activities. So what to do is to present activities on the accuracy, or on the pronunciation, or on the listenings, or on the topics of the listenings, and then you move to the rest of the lessons. You'd rather provide your pupils with activities on accuracy and pronunciation, or even related to the listening. For instance, when you talk about marbles, hopscotch in the script, you make them do activities of the book. For example, the activities of games. This one, for example. Okay, just be selective. In the book we have interesting and not interest. We have in the book some interesting and boring activities. So you have to be selective. But you have to bear in mind that in iPractice we have to provide our pupils with activities, that's all. And we don't have to present, you can present iPractice after 1 or 2 lessons of listening or grammar or pronunciation, then you carry on with the lessons. or you finish all the lessons and you present the iPractice phase where you have to present activities. So it depends. So iPractice is really flexible. Then after iPractice we have I read and do. We cannot present I think and write or I need to integrate before I read and do. It's impossible. But we can present a grammar lesson or a pronunciation lesson after I read and do. You are free. You can use the scripts as a context for your grammar lessons, or you can use texts, reading texts as a context for your grammar lessons. You are free. Here, concerning reading, you cannot rely on the book 100%. You can present 1, 2, or even 3 texts. This depends on the topic of the sequence, of course. I take the example of 3rd year. For example, in the second sequence, it involves old lifestyle in games, dwellings, clothes, and food. Why not present in a text about games and dwellings, then an interview or a dialogue about clothes and food? This way, you're going to present 2 types of texts, and you're going to mention in your texts the grammar items they saw. Past simple tense in the former text, for example, and in the interview you're going to provide them with questions with the semi-modal used to or how long ago. So you have to stick to the grammar lessons they have like seen in the sequence in order to select your texts. After I read and do, we have I learn to integrate. Of course, this is a logical order. Why? Because I learn to integrate is like a writing lesson which should be done in groups. Like it can be the solution of the initial situation, or you leave the solution of the initial situation in the lesson of I think and write. Here you have to devote 2 or 3 sessions, not less, because your pupils have to take time. You have to take time while like presenting a writing lesson. They have to write in the first session, and then you're going to correct your pupils. You correct their papers, providing them with remarks, and then you're going to present activities on the weaknesses. Then you write the final version together. Then the last lesson is going to be I think and write. Here it is a writing lesson too, but it should be like done individually. Now that your pupils are prepared for the writing phase or for writing individually, thanks to the lesson of I learn to integrate, they're going to write relying on themselves. It can be the solution of the initial situation, and here you devote 2 sessions or 3 for this lesson. Write in the first session, then invite pupils to correct each other. It's a very important step when your pupils correct each other. It's called peer correction. They're going to recognize their mistakes and compare their work to the others. And you, of course, provide them with the correction symbols, which are very important, so that your pupils are going to learn how to use these symbols in their pieces. And your pupils have to write their pieces on their copybooks, something very important, to recognize their weaknesses and see the correction while revising. Like they compare the final version with their pieces in order to not repeat or remake the same mistakes. After that, we have assessment. By the end of the sequence, before you move to another sequence, you're going to assess your pupils. And assessment is the process by which you evaluate your pupils' performance and the learning process in general, and it is a way to evaluate yourselves as teachers. And it can be presented as quizzes, projects, oral questions, activities, homeworks. So you have to assess your pupils and to see like to which extent the objective of the lessons have been the objectives, I would say, of the lessons have been reached. And teachers must be provided with the evaluation grid, which is very important. I posted recently an evaluation grid on my Facebook page. Now, if you want to design your own evaluation grid, you are free. If you want to design like an evaluation grid for grammar, and then for pronunciation, and then for writing, and then for listening, or like an exhaustive evaluation grid, you are free. Just be flexible with that. That's all, my dear followers. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it is useful. I'd like to say that you can rely on yourselves while like designing your own sequence map. Why not? You just have to follow these like pieces of advice. If you have any questions, you don't have to hesitate. I'm here available for all your comments and questions. Thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.